everyone. Well done on coming today. What a fantastic turnout, and what a great vibe in the room. And
thanks, Liz.
It's all about Brett.
It is. It's all about
single-handedly. What goodwill and what fantastic stories we've heard. So hopefully I'll give employers in the room some information and some advice that will be some tangible takeaways on how you can maybe be here next year and talking about what you've achieved through partnerships. So what I'd like you to leave with today is that you don't have to do this on your own. There are, as has been alluded to today, a range of supports and services available to help you employ people with disability and to help you think outside the box when it comes to your recruitment needs. Because often employers think, oh, it's all a bit confusing and it's a bit hard and I don't understand which ways up. So we've had a lot of information today on the business case for employing people with disability. So I had some other statistics and I'm going to just leave those. I do want to make a point about why, as employers, you should care about the National Disability Insurance Scheme. This scheme has bipartisan support. You will have heard for the first time in the last few years disability is actually in the news, and my family actually asked me what I do now and asked me was I'm moving to Geelong because of the National Disability Insurance Scheme. What it means for employers is that people with disability will finally get access to the support and services that they need to be as productive as they can be. And then they will have higher expectations, as do their families, about what they'll be able to achieve in their communities. And they'll have higher expectations of you as employers about offering opportunities to them. So start thinking about what can you be doing to open up opportunities, because they're coming. There'll be a whole bunch of new, the untapped workforce that was mentioned earlier. We're about to give them resources to meet their potential. We also had our fantastic speaker from Canada talk about some of the myths associated with disability, and we've got research that blows myths out of the water, in particular the occupational health and safety perception that there is additional risk there. That's just not true. So there's information there on that for you. If I can talk about what your obligations are as employers, you may know about the Disability Discrimination Act. So there is a legal framework to make sure that you're not inadvertently discriminating against people with disability, either through the delivery of your services and the conduct of your business, but also in your recruitment of people with disability. And that can also be a bit sort of daunting and overwhelming for people when they think about that. So for us, it's really about what's reasonable. So your obligations as employers are focusing on what's reasonable. And in that, we ask you, when you're looking at recruiting, so you have that vacancy that Neil spoke about, look at what are the tasks in that job, what are you looking for that needs to be done, rather than thinking about how it's going to be done. As I think Simon might have mentioned, we all react in different ways and achieve things in different ways. So focus on the task and not on how it's done. And see, as employers here today have done, see beyond disability and explore the person's skills. That's not always captured on a resume. And we need to be aware of that. So that idea of perhaps using the work experience as a form of extended interview, think about those, think of other ways that you might be able to explore people's skills and see beyond disability. Simple adjustments can make a big difference, and I'll show you a video soon of that in action. They can make a big difference for people. And as our colleague from Canada said, getting it right on disability will mean that you'll get it right on most other groups in your businesses. So people who are good at managing and recruiting people with disability are generally going to be better at managing people in general and recruiting in general. So you're going to get better people by being more confident on disability. This is a cartoon, and it says two guys in suits, and one's saying to the other, I'm wearing a blue suit, Dave's wearing a brown suit, Phil's wearing a grey suit. How much more diversity do we need? So for us, the recruitment of people with disability is absolutely not about charity. It's about really just giving people a fair go to prove that they can do the job. People with disability have told us that they want support, not sympathy. And the best way to be prepared to recruit candidates with disability disability is to go in with an open mind, as people with disability can and do work despite some of our misperceptions. The next thing to do is to work on building some basic skills in this space, to have a basic working knowledge of 3 key concepts. One is around inherent requirements, so what are the job essentials, what are the things that must be done in that job? Being open to making reasonable adjustments if they're required, and managing disclosure, and that's a big one. So what do you do if someone shares with you that they have disability? So just having some nous around that. And the service that I manage can help you with that, as can the range of disability employment services in the room, and I'll talk about them in a second. The National Disability Recruitment Coordinator is Your Taxes at Work. It's a government-funded program, and we work primarily with large companies to help them build their confidence around disability and to help open up employment opportunities to people with disability. We also act as a GPS to help employers navigate this space and introduce them to the sources of talent, that being disability employment services. So we act as a bit of a coordinator. That's the coordinator bit of our name. So the way we see it is that we've got 2 groups of people all going for the same end goal. So employers are looking for the right person, and people with disability are looking for the right job. And there are a range of supports there to help employers get there. There's ourselves for larger companies, and when we say large companies, it's 100 plus employees. There's the National Network of Disability Employment Services. There are over 150 organisations, again, Your Taxes at Work, that operate all around the country, and their job is to help you make sure that you feel that you've made the right decision when you employ a person with disability. They're there to introduce you to candidates, they're there to understand your business and meet your expectations, and also to make sure that candidates with disability are ready to respond to the opportunities with your organisations as they come up. So we've got a range of them here today. I'm sure they'd all be very happy to speak to the employers in the room, so that can happen soon. And also in terms of if you don't get to connect with the employment service today, and in future you might not have a vacancy today, but you might want to have one down the track, you can ring the Job Access Service, which is another plank in that on the racetrack there. And we'll talk about that in a sec. Here are some of the companies that we've worked with, past and present, and I'd like to acknowledge that City of Knox, City of Whittlesea, partners, as are Deakin University, one of our partners in Melbourne City Mission, who are all here today. So they've said, yes, we're happy to think outside the box, and they also understand that they don't have to be great to start, but they've got to start to be great. And one of Neil's quotes, which he didn't get to use today, was, don't be seduced by the right time argument. Don't think this is something we're going to do another time. You know, it's like we need to be fit before we go to the gym. No, we don't. We've just got to say, I'm going to get fit, I'm going to start going to the gym, and the more I go, the fitter I'll get. So the more you do this, the more candidates with disability you meet, the more confident you'll be and the more you'll do it, and hopefully tell your friends. We have a vacancy distribution service, so if you do have a vacancy and you don't know where to lodge it, you can call us and we'll circulate it for you to the National Network of Disability Employment Services. And I've talked about them. I'd like to show a video. It's a 5-minute video, and it talks about the funding that's available to help employers make any adjustments in the workplace when employing a person with disability. It's important to know most people with disability don't need any adjustments, and when they do, they're usually small. But here is a source of information and advice on that.
I'm Louise Pearson. I'm a social worker by training, and I work for MS Australia.
My name's Caroline Brown. I work for Australia Post. I ride a motorcycle and I deliver mail.
My name's Hoy Nguyen, and we're at the Makeshift Studio, which is run by my organisation, Enable Development. We're currently focused on training for organisations and people to make their place or workplace more inclusive and accessible. Job Access has provided me with assisted devices, such as my wheelchair, which is built for travelling and work, and a highly adjustable table.
Job Access is a free national service. It's expert information and advice on any matters relating to the employment of people with disability. The primary users of the Job Access service are job seekers or employees themselves with either disability or mental health issues, employers, and also service providers.
We've streamlined our processes with the support of Job Access to enable interpreters to come in on a regular basis so that we can improve communication for our employees and our managers.
I've had dealings with Job Access for some years now. They've provided me with JAWS, which stands for Job Access with Speech. It will read to me what you see on the screen.
We've had a very stable management and professional advising team at Job Access for many years. It means that the knowledge sharing and the advice and support they're able to provide to employers and people with disability is very consistent in terms of what adjustments, what modifications, what works in what different work environments.
Most recently, they've provided me with a fantastic device called a Braille Sense U2. It can read spreadsheets, it can do email, so it's fantastic because I'll be in a meeting, documents are being handed out, I could then open them up and have a look at them with everyone else.
The Job Access program has received a United Nations award. In addition, it was identified as one of the world's 10 best innovative policies around the employment of people with disability at the Project Zero conference.
The chair which I'm using that's provided by Job Access is very specialised for my line of work, which is to do a lot of travelling and getting to remote places. And these places are very challenging in terms of accessibility. Infrastructure is not really built.
It's really important and beneficial for the communities to see someone like Hoy, because then they also get to see not only someone who is taking the time to think about people with disabilities in those communities, but also they get to see someone with a disability getting out there and being really independent.
The most satisfying part of my role is not only seeing our managers feel confident and supported and engage people with disability, but our employees feeling included, feeling enthusiastic and talking about Australia Post as a great place to work.
Job Access has had a fantastic track record of service delivery as evidenced by the people who use it. Our hope for the future is that all employers in Australia know that this service exists for them.
I absolutely would recommend Job Access. It's a fantastic scheme. It's something that's going to make people more able to function in their workplace, and if they're at all like me, it helps to decrease the gap that exists between people who are working in the organisation without disabilities and those who have them.
I would definitely recommend Job Access to others in a similar situation, especially self-employment, because it really accelerates, I suppose, the goals that we set out to achieve, and it really is an enabler to be able to establish work for yourself.
The wider community still has a lot of learning about people with disabilities, and we've got a long way to go, but we're heading in the right direction, and the funding that we get from Job Access is making it a lot better for deaf people within the workplace. Look, my frustration disappeared by having the interpreters in, and it's definitely made me happier.
Anybody that wants to employ anybody with a disability, give them a go, because at the end of the day, their success is your success.
Job Access is your one-stop shop for disability employment advice and support. From the self-employed to Australia's largest companies, Job Access and the Employment Assistance Fund benefits thousands of Australians every year. For free expert advice, call 1800 464 800 or visit jobaccess.gov.au.
So the number is on your USB cards, I think, and please have the Job Access website on your intranet, have a link there, introduce it to your HR teams if they're not aware of it. So Job Access helps remove barriers, but you know what the biggest barrier is to employing people with disability? 6 inches. It's 6 inches is the biggest barrier to employing people with disability. What are the 6 inches? The space between here and here. So it's how we think, it's our barriers, it's our attitudes. Which then just wants me to share a quote with you from the recently, stepped recently down from the role of Disability Discrimination Commissioner Graham Innes. It's true of almost everything in life, clothes, relationships, jobs, etc. One size does not fit all. And I wonder if, to make sure that every member of our community has the chance to find a job in our community, we need to accept that one size does not fit all in the way people find jobs. Again, encouraging you to think outside the box, connect with the partners that will help you make a difference.